Greetings and welcome. Now, are you politically homeless? Are you fed up of constantly having to vote for the least worst option when it comes to election time? Now, there's no secret if you've watched a few of my videos, you know, I tend to lean left with my politics, but I do attract people, all sorts of different people from the political spectrum to my videos, mainly when I'm doing videos that are just slamming the Tories, because I think it's pretty common consensus in this country that we're getting fed up of the two-party system. We're getting fed up of Labour and the Tories. If you're on the right of politics, you've had enough of the Tories, and if you're on the left, you're not particularly fond of Labour at the moment. And when I do these crossover videos where I get a few other people from different political spectrums come over, I'm always getting inundated with these comments. Vote reform. You need to vote reform. Reform are the only way. Now, I know a little bit about reform. I've seen Richard Tice on GB News. I know they've sort of sprung up from the ashes of UKIP and the Brexit Party. I know a little bit what they're about. But they're obviously resonating with people, aren't they? There's obviously something there that is resonating with working class, average Joes, people like me, normal people in this country. They're resonating somehow. So I thought I'd actually dive in and go onto their website and actually have a better look of what they're actually offering reform. Now, I've got to be honest, I was quite surprised with what I saw. On the surface, they're offering some pretty good stuff. I mean, stuff like this, 50% nationalisation of utilities. The other 50% owned with pensions. The way I understand this, if I'm wrong, put in the comments, but the way I'm understanding their policy here is that the other utilities will be owned with our pensions, and any profits that come from that will go to bolster the British public pensions. Sounds pretty good. And to be honest, it appears more to the left of what Labour are currently offering. Interesting. Other things on their website: 0 waiting times on the NHS. On the surface, they appear to be very fond of the NHS. They want to bring back nursing bursaries to train British citizens to become nurses. One of my biggest bugbears. My wife's a nurse. I know about this. One of the biggest reasons why we have such short staff shortages. Get your fucking words out, mate. Staff shortages in the NHS is because of we used to train British people to become nurses for free. And not only the staff shortages, but also the untapped potential. We have so many people out there that potential great nurses and care workers that are not able to get the chance because they can't afford the training. They can't afford to get student loans for university fees. They can't, and it's such a shame. So on the surface, it seems pretty good. On the surface. And this is the issue. This is the problem. When you dive into how they're going to pay for these things and their opinions on economics and stuff like that, this is where it gets shady, because they're all about tax cuts. That's how we're going to fund. That's how we're going to get the economy moving. Tax cuts. Trickle-down economics, what we've been doing for the last 40 years. Liz Truss-style economics, where we give massive tax cuts to corporations to bolster the economy and let that trickle down to us at the bottom. Trickle down, let it trickle down to us, please. Come on. And when we dive in further to their policy on the NHS, on the surface, they seem very fond of the NHS. We're going to get the NHS waiting times down to 0. We're going to train people. But when you dive in, they want more privatised NHS. Of course, because that model doesn't work with their style of economics. If you're really right-wing with economics, the NHS is not for you, is it? And this is what's scary, because a lot of people, I think, are getting enticed into the Reform Party with the policies that they're fond of. That nationalisation is great. That's a really popular policy. Nationalisation of railways. We know what's going on with the water at the moment. Nationalisation of utilities is a very popular. That's probably why they're going for it. They get enticed in. A lot of people are concerned about immigration. A lot of people are concerned about gender politics with our kids and stuff like that. But overall, I don't think generally the British public are fond of trickle-down economics. And this does a full circle to the start of the video. Are you politically homeless right now? Because I think there is a large sway of the population that is socially conservative. They believe, they're concerned about immigration, gender politics, things like this. Reform appeal to them, but economically left wing. They've had enough of trickle down economics. I think a large sway of the population believe in a fair taxation. They believe in the rich paying their way and actually going for things like further capital gains tax and not letting big rich corporation billionaires get away with not paying their tax in the Cayman Islands and tax loopholes. I think a lot of people are fed up with that, and they can see over the last 13-20 years the gap between the rich and the poor has just got bigger and bigger and bigger. And this is what I'm saying. I don't think there's a political home for these people, and I think there is a large percentage of this population that would class themselves as socially conservative but economically left wing. There's no party that represents them. It seems like if you're socially conservative, you have to get on board with right-wing economics as well. And the same on the other side. If you're for left-wing economics, you have to get on board with the social left issues that maybe you're not quite on board with, the so-called woke. What do you think, guys? Am I talking rubbish? I seriously think there's a gap here. But the thing is, the only way that you're going to get that type of government is through PR. You're not going to get it through first past the post. You need a proportional representation voting system. I've said on the channel before, the most democratic government that we could have in this country, the government that best represents the views of the people, would be a centrist Labour Party in coalition, bolstered up with a Green Party that's pushing for more socialist policy, and with a Reform Party that's going, hang on guys, don't take the piss with immigration, don't go crazy with our kids with the woke stuff. You know, whether I agree with those politics or not is not the point that I'm making, but that would be the most democratic government we could have in this country that fairly represents everyone's views. And that's what it's about. Getting the most, I don't want to push my views on everyone in the country. I want the most fairest representation of our views, and we don't get that. And we don't have a political party that's ever going to be able to represent all of those. What's your thoughts, guys? If you enjoyed the video, click a like. If you haven't subscribed, you can subscribe up top. There'll be another video there. And please comment down below. Do you think there is a massive gap for people that are socially conservative but economically left-wing? And do you think that reform, enticing people in with their conservative socialist policies, but are going to absolutely bugger us up the arse with their style of economics? Liz Truss, privatisation of the NHS. They're going to rape us. They're going to entice us in, bend us over, and give us a good rogering. Till next time, take care.